the light behind me is on, but we're gonna have to wait for the sun to go down. Today we will be doing a Carly Rae Jepsen tier list. I am going to be doing all of her studio album tracks. No B-sides, so we're not doing the B-sides album, just the studio albums. And we're not going to do bonus content. So nothing on extended cuts, just, when you look at the track listing on Wikipedia, that initial chunk is what we're looking at. Except for the singles, Party for One and Cut to the Feeling, which are not technically album tracks, or at least Party for One is technically not an album track, but it was the first single from Dedicated. It doesn't matter. We are doing that one. So we're not going to talk that much about Tug of War, because it is juvenilia by the most literal, objective definition. Most of the songs kind of sound the same, and they're not super interesting even upon first listen, and definitely not upon re-listen. To start us off, we've got Bucket, which is the opener, and it is E tier. It's just a song. It's not bad, I guess. It's not like cut my ears out or anything. But it's also not really good. Like, I wouldn't listen to it. We've got Tug of War next, the eponymous song from this album. It's in D tier because it's fine. It's listenable. I would probably listen to it, and the 2-3 times that I've listened to these albums to put them in a ranking, Tug of War was never one that bothered me so much as underwhelmed me. Next, we've got Money and the Ego. I hate this song. I really do. It's talking about how, Carly Rae Jepsen just, isn't in it for the money and the ego, guys. She is. That stuff just, doesn't interest her, and she's different. And I get that when you're in your teens, even in your late teens, that can seem like interesting fodder for songwriting. But it just ends up coming across as, a little childish. You don't actually know what you're talking about, which, fair enough, but it's not a song I want to listen to. Tell Me. I am putting this in F tier. I don't really have anything else to say. I just don't like this song. I'm going to have to say that. That's why we're speeding through Tug of War, because there isn't much to say. Heavy Lifting. F tier. Not fun to listen to. Sunshine on My Shoulders. F tier. I hate this song. These are in track order, but also Sunshine on My Shoulders is my least favorite song on this album. I think it's absolutely awful. I just can't listen to this song. I always skip it. I hate it so much. Worldly Matters. Okay, we jump up to a D tier. Worldly Matters is fine. It still has that juvenile quality that Money and the Ego has, but in a way that's charming rather than grating in the way that Money and the Ego is. I mean, I can sympathize because I wrote songs like it when I was in my teens, and it's fine. It's very much the song written by a teenager who thinks they know more about the world than they do. And I mean, that's a lot of this album, to be honest. Sweet Talker, also D tier. Sweet Talker is actually not bad to listen to. I think it's got a nice instrumental, but again, nothing special. Hotel Shampoos, D tier. Same thing as Sweet Talker. Honestly, I'm going to move Hotel Shampoos up to near the top of D tier. Really good instrumental for this era in Carly Rae Jepsen's discography. And Sour Candy, the finale, is going in E tier. It's nothing special. It's quite forgettable. I actually don't remember how it goes. But I remember not hating it as much as everything in F tier on my third listen of this album. And I did only listen to it 3 times. You can't get me to listen to this album more than that. And the only reason I listened to it 3 times was for this tier list. So it's not like I was listening to it to enjoy it. However, we now get to Carly Rae Jepsen's second album, Kiss, which I have listened to just to enjoy it. Which, again, isn't going to be saying much, let's be honest, but that's what we're working with. So the opener, Tiny Little Bows. I quite like this song in a D tier sort of way. I think it's an okay opener for this album. It's got a nice rhythm, it's got a nice melody to it. I like the sample that's used, and I like the way that it's used. I like that it lets you know immediately that this is not going to be the Carly Rae Jepsen of Tug of War. This is a complete genre pivot into dancey, sparkly, synthetic, bubblegum pop. However, the reason that it's in D tier is that for all the things that I like about it, there are more things that I dislike, or at least the things that I dislike about it outweigh the things that I do. Tiny Little Bows tends to sound a little thin. It's not a song that I skip. I quite like it. I'll still listen to it, but I couldn't bring myself to put it above D tier. Next up, we've got This Kiss, which is actually going to be a jump up into B tier. I really like this song. It is fun, it's bouncy, it's poppy, and also the lyrics are good. The song is about 2 people who are both in a relationship, but can't deny their attraction to each other. It's the first song of Carly Rae's, I think, that really... If you're listening to the albums in order, I think This Kiss is the first track that makes you go like, oh, she's like doing it. Like, she's doing something different. She's doing something kind of fun. And while it's still quite juvenile, I don't think that that's a bad thing anymore. Call Me Maybe. I think this is going to be controversial, but Call Me Maybe is going in C tier. I don't like it as much as This Kiss, and I don't think it's as strong of a song. I understand why people gravitated toward it, and I understand why it was a good song at the time, and why it still holds up in a lot of ways. I just think it's okay. The things that I like about it are even with the things that I dislike about it. I find the lyrics kind of not interesting, especially the chorus. I'm sorry, I don't think the chorus is very interesting, but I love the strings, and I love the electric guitar that comes into the third chorus. I think those are such like great touches for the song that really elevate it above the pop music that we had at the time, and I see that now, and I respect the hustle. Curiosity I'm also going to put in C tier. Curiosity is great because it's 4 minutes long. Carly was obviously like thinking about radio playability, but also just what's good for the song, and I think Curiosity is a good example of that, where what's good for the song was to have a big climax and like a fun instrumental at the end that you can just like thrash along to. It's a good song. It's great. The chorus is really cool. Curiosity will never let me go. I'm gonna put it above Call Me Maybe. I think I prefer to listen to Curiosity than Call Me Maybe. Next I need water. Good Time is the worst Carly Rae Jepsen song ever made. By far. Like, it's unlistenable. When I was listening to these albums for the tier list, I skip this song. I can't listen to it a second time. It's so awful. It's so not fun to listen to. It's so It's horrible. I hate this song. I hate this song so much. It somehow mishandles every terrible pop cliche of the time. Owl City is there, and it's just like, yeah, I don't have anything to say for this song. I don't even want to put it in F tier. Good Time gets its own tier, because what is this song? I wish I could say it any nicer than that, but no, I can't. This song is it is in its own tier of wretched misery. More Than a Memory, we jump right back up to C tier. I quite like More Than a Memory. I think I like it more than Curiosity and You Can Call Me Maybe. More Than a Memory has a great chorus. It has some of Carly Rae Jepsen's most emotionally vulnerable lyrics on the album. I don't think it reaches This Kiss, but I quite like it. Turn Me Up is next, and Turn Me Up is in D tier. I kind of skip this song every time I listen to the album. It's okay. It's alright in it. It's alright. But then we've got Hurt So Good, and we're jumping to E tier, baby. I do not like this song. Hurt So Good is boring. It's bland. It's nothing. It's filler. I don't know. What can I say? It's listenable, but I think we can expect a little more. We have Beautiful featuring Justin Bieber, and this is going straight to F tier. I hate this song. I know I've said that a lot, but listen, it's going to get better. We're going to get more positive as we go along, don't worry. Beautiful is cloying, it's tacky, it's... Justin Bieber and Carly Rae Jepsen's vocals, to me, don't really have any chemistry. And the lyrics are just, like, boring and nothing. They're just about how beautiful someone is. Like, it sucks. We're moving on. Tonight I'm Getting Over You. Oh, baby, this is D tier. I know I'm getting excited for D tier, but, like, listen. That's Carly Rae Jepsen's first two albums for me. I love Carly Rae. Please don't... I'm gonna stop qualifying it, because it is gonna get better. But, listen. Tonight I'm Getting Over You. Great hook. A good hook. It's not great. And it has, like, this great part in the pre-chorus, I believe, that's like, when our lovers... And, like, there's, like, an added delay and echo and reverb to it that makes it sound so grand. But that's my favorite part of the song, and the rest is fine. Again, listenable. I don't skip it, but I don't think it's anything special. Especially once we get to later content. Guitar String / Wedding Ring, the penultimate track, it's going in C tier. I quite like this track. There's a good, like, again, electric guitar bit. It's like weird and loud and obnoxious, but in a way that I guess is my jam. Yeah, I like the chorus on it well enough. I never skip it. I usually am looking forward to it. Every time I listen to these albums, I was looking forward to this track. Because it's very unlike a lot of the tracks on this album. Not that it's like experimental or something, but they're good. It's good. Finally, for Kiss, we have Your Heart Is a Muscle. And that is going, say it with me, C tier. It is a ballad. It's quite a nice ballad, I would say. Because it's like the only ballad on here, because it's the only sort of slower track, it does stick out from the album in kind of a bit of an awkward way. But I think it's as a song in and of itself, it's very good. I think the chorus is well written. I think her youth and her seeming inexperience kind of pays off in this track, because it's not trying to be smarter than the audience. It's not trying to be wiser than the audience. It's simply stating a thesis, I guess. Okay, this is what we've all been waiting for, right? This is the main attraction. This is the Grand Prix. I don't know. Now, when I was listening to these albums in order to put them into a tier list, in order to rank them, I would be listening to Tug of War. And I would be listening and I'd be going like, oh yeah, this song is pretty good. Like, I think this is like a C tier, honestly, track. Like, this is quite nice. And I would be listening to Kiss and I would get to something like Call Me Maybe and I'm like, oh, this is easily a B tier Carly Rae Jepsen song. Like, this is so good. Oh, this Kiss, A tier. Incredible work. Love that for her. But then I would get to Run Away With Me, the opener on Emotion, and I realized I had to add an E tier, and I bumped everything down, because there is no way that basically any of the tracks from her first two albums even come close to touching the dew on the hem of Run Away With Me. That's right. It is our first S-tier track, and Emotion as an album in general recontextualizes the first two albums and makes you realize just what you've been missing. Emotion as an album, incredible. Run Away With Me as a song, unfucking believable. Run Away With Me is the quintessential Carly Rae Jepsen song. It's huge. It's got pace. The lyrics are incredible. The production is clean and bright and sparkly, but has so much heft behind it. That kick drum is slamming you in the face, while Carly Rae Jepsen makes you an offer that you cannot refuse. You want to run away with her. And what's more, when you're listening to this track, you just want to run in general. This is the kind of track that I put on and I can't, like, I'm walking and I just want to start sprinting. This song is unbelievable, from that opening riff, that iconic opening riff, to the final chorus, which is just all engines go. What a crazy track to open the album with. And again, same with Tiny Little Bows, it tells you, this is not Call Me Maybe Carly Rae. This is something bigger. This is something crazier. This is something more polished and mature, and she's going to deliver on the rest of the album. So let's get to it. Emotion. Emotion is an A-tier track. I could listen to this song daily and never get sick of it. I love all the lyrics. I love the chorus. The chorus is incredible. Again, it's just got like an odd production. It's nothing like crazy experimental, but for pop, especially the pop that was coming out around the time, I think it kind of stands out as like a really interesting, thoughtful bit of production. Carly Rae's lyrics, of course, are lovely. They're very fun to listen to. And the rhythm and the groove of this song, it just makes you want to move, you know? I Really Like You. I Really Like You, for me, is a step backwards, and I think it was meant to be one, unfortunately. While it has great production, while it's thumping and clean, and the lyrics are fine, actually. I don't know. I wasn't going to say anything more than that. It's not unlistenable. It's not bad by any means. But when we compare it to the rest of the album and try and stack all these tracks together, I don't think it stacks up. For that reason, I'm putting it in C tier. Gimme Love. Gimme Love is amazing. I know I'm just going to be gushing for a lot of this album, but Gimme Love is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Carly Rae Jepsen song. But more than that, it's got such a great chorus. I think one of her most tightly written choruses. The verses get you going, and there's a good progression to the production. Like, we've got peaks and valleys, you know? And in that final chorus, when things are pumping and the choir is going, and, like, Carly Rae is just, like, belting it out, it makes me... It chokes me up every time I listen to it. For that reason, I'm going to put it in S tier. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I think it stacks up with Run Away With Me, but does not exceed it. When I first listened to the album, if you had asked me back in 2020, when I'd first listened to this album, yes, I was late, leave me alone. If you had asked me back then to rank the songs on this album, I think I would have put All That in C tier. Because I just thought it was okay. It was a ballad. It was one of the slower tracks. It seemed fine. Now, it is an A tier. I think above Emotion. Oh, the drum processing is so crisp, so tasty. And it's one of the songs, maybe the first song on this album, where Carly is discussing a form of love that's a little more ambiguous than romantic love. That's a little more platonic, even. I love the chord changes that happen in the final chorus, and I think in the second chorus, there are even some chord changes that, like, just add more dimension and add more nuance and texture to the song that you wouldn't expect to be there. So yeah, this song for me is an easy A tier. Or not easy A tier, I've had a relationship with it, but it is A tier. Next we've got Boy Problems. Boy Problems I'm going to put in B tier. I think it's a great song. I think it's got really good lyrics. Again, I like the fact that it's about something other than romantic love. I love the fact that it's about a friendship that is being strained by the narrator's own insistence on complaining about her relationships that her friend knows aren't good for her, but she keeps running back to for some reason. It's a nice, kind of self-aware, cheeky song that I think also has a great hook, by the way. Making the Most of the Night. I don't know how controversial this is going to be, but I put this track in A tier. Under All That, under Emotion, but again, this track is another one like All That, which can be applied to different types of relationships, I believe. And I think it kind of goes really hard. I love that the chorus just explodes with sound, and it sounds so urgent, even though the question being posed isn't necessarily a big one. It's just she wants to take this person and give them a nice night because they've been having a hard time lately. She makes it sound grand and important and filled with urgency that, you know, you're with her on this ride. I think it's a beautiful track. Your Type is another A tier. I love this track. It's going at like the top of A tier. I could listen to this track literally every day, and I'm surprised that I don't. I'm not the type of girl for you. I'm not going to pretend. And again, nuanced, mature writing. It's about having unrequited feelings for somebody that you might have already even had a relationship with. The song begins with the line, "I used to be in love with you." And then in the pre-chorus it says, "But I still love you. I'm sorry, I love you. I didn't mean to say what I said." And that could be interpreted in like two ways, I believe. I didn't mean to say what I said could either be talking about a real conversation that Carly Rae and this person had that the listener is not privy to, where she is apologizing for saying something hurtful. Or it could be referring to the first line in the song. The first line, "I used to be in love with you." And then the pre-chorus saying, "I didn't mean to say what I said," right after she clarifies, "but I still love you." I think it's great. I think it's wonderful pop lyricism. Not to be queer on Pride Month, but I listened to this song, Your Type, and just like as a gay man who has multiple times fallen for straight men, the idea of not being somebody's type and still being in love with them, despite that, is it hits home. It hits home. Your Type is followed by Let's Get Lost, which is going in C tier. I don't love this song. I think it's average. Nothing special, really. It's sort of a Wish.com version of Making the Most of the Night, honestly. And there isn't really much to say about it. I don't skip it or anything. I quite enjoy listening to it, but it's, it is what it is. LA Hallucinations is also going to go in C tier. It, to me, is the least interesting song on the album. It feels like just a slightly more grown-up version of a song you would have found on Kiss or even Tug of War. This idea of like the fame, the fame, it's too much, I can't stand BuzzFeed and TLC. And I don't know, it's not a topic that appeals to me. I think the production on this track is really good, though. I do really like the production on the track. I kind of wish it was about something else, but at the same time, I like that Carly Rae Jepsen is happy to explore different themes within her albums beyond just liking someone and breaking up with someone. So, kudos. Warm Blood is one of my favorite tracks on Emotion. I think it's so weird for Carly Rae Jepsen. I think it stands out as a kind of experimental track. As experimental as, this sort of glittery pop music can get. It doesn't seem to have like a genre that you can easily place it in. And the lyrics are so odd and impressionistic and super interesting. Again, it's one of my favorite tracks on the album. But if I'm being honest, it's in B tier. Obviously, that's not bad. I think I was probably expecting to put it higher, but it is what it is. It's a great track. Please listen to it. Please give it love. Mama. If there are two things that Carly Rae Jepsen is going to do, Carly Rae Jepsen is going to start an album, and she's going to finish an album. When I Needed You is an easy S tier. I don't even know what to say about it. It's like everything. It's everything tasty about 80s pop. It's everything incredible about Cyndi Lauper's music. And it feels like such an ode to all of those, while still remaining firmly in the present, still being current and modern, and having sharp, modern production. An unbelievably fun song to listen to. The lyrics are great. The chorus hits. Carly's gang vocals. Oh, Mama, that synth solo in the end when things are going crazy. I believe it's a synth solo. I mean, and then it ends with a fade out, because how do you end this song? It's such a jam. You can't end it. You have to fade it out. So as you can see, Emotion is a huge jump up from Kiss and especially from Tug of War, which is why all of these needed to be pushed down. Now we're on the album Dedicated, another Carly Rae Jepsen album that I love. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Emotion, Dedicated, and The Loneliest Time are all albums that I absolutely love. They're all pop perfection. I I try not to be biased, but I am but a man. So let's get into Dedicated. The opening track, Julian, A tier. Easy A tier. We're gonna put it above Emotion as a track. Julian is a really strong opener. I don't think it's an S tier, but I love the new direction that it's taking. I love that there's sort of a 70s meets 90s groove to it. Carly Rae Jepsen's vocals are breathy and intimate, and it's almost like she's whispering in your ear the whole time, and you kind of don't want it to stop. It just, I don't know how she is writing these choruses, but she's doing a bang-up job with it. It's sparkly, it's watery, like there's something so... The thing that's jumping to my mind right now is a song like The Sensual World by Kate Bush, where it just feels like the instrumental has been dipped in Vaseline. No Drug Like Me is like B tier. Like, near the bottom of B tier. I think it's fine. I think it's quite good. I like the groove to it. I like the rhythm. And it's continuing the theme of sort of 70s meets 90s meets modern day. The melody, like the vocal melody, is really fun to sing along to. And I think it's got just like a cool thumping sound to it. Now That I Found You is D tier. It's at the top of D tier. It reminds me of a Gap commercial. It reminds me of a shoe store. Like, it's just, I don't think it's necessarily boring, but I think it doesn't have that spark that makes a great Carly Rae Jepsen song, either lyrically or musically. I think it's just, I usually skip it. It's fine. It's middle of the road. Want You in My Room. Mama, if there are 3 things that Carly Rae Jepsen, that Miss Rae Jepsen is going to do, it's begin an album, it's finish an album, and it's have a 4th track on the album. Want You in My Room is an easy S tier. It's one of the easiest S tiers. This song hooks you and does not let you go. The verses, incredible. So fun to listen to, so fun to sing along to. The pre-chorus, bangs. I mean, that the pre-chorus has this like ascending synth line at the end that just like, it's slamming you in the chest. And then you've got the chorus, which is just Marvin Gaye, come hither, let's get it on, perfection. I mean, I cannot gush about this song enough. It's a perfect track. It's a perfect track, and it's produced by Jack Antonoff, which I don't even like his production style, but you know, he hit it out of the park today. I don't know what was in the juice that he was sipping with Carly Rae in the studio, but they created a perfect song. It's hard to even talk about it. Next, we've got Everything He Needs, which I think this is going to be a weird one to place because it's so odd. Dedicated feels in a lot of ways like an experimental album, even though it's not super experimental. You know, I listen to experimental music, and Dedicated is still a pop album, but it's doing such this song specifically, Everything He Needs, is doing such weird things, pitching the vocals and having these like weird flowy wavy synths over slow jam drums. Like, I don't know, it's such a cool song. I think it hits for the most part. I think it's in B tier. Listen to it yourself. It's kind of unlike any other Carly Rae Jepsen song. If you go into her discography looking for a series of Call Me Maybes, I mean, Everything He Needs is proof that Carly Rae Jepsen can do more than danceable pop bangers, and she does it flawlessly. Well, not flawlessly, but perfectly. Happy Not Knowing is unfortunately our first post-Kiss E-tier song. I wanted to like this song. Every time it came on, I really wanted to enjoy it. But it's just boring, isn't it? It's not really the most interesting track on Dedicated. It's certainly not the most interesting track on Emotion. The instrumentals are pretty standard. Carly Rae. The lyrics are... There's nothing really standout about this song. It's just what it is, which is not very good. It's kind of a down note on Dedicated, honestly. I'll Be Your Girl is, I believe, Carly Rae Jepsen's only song in 3/4. Like Everything He Needs, I'll Be Your Girl is another experimental-ish track. Unfortunately, I don't think it sticks the landing quite as well as Everything He Needs. The production, to my ear, tends to sound a little messier than what I am used to by now for a Carly Rae Jepsen song. But I think it does some things admirably well, and I think, again, I will always give points for experimentation, even if they don't always land. For all of that, however, I am going to be putting it in C tier. Too Much. Another single from Dedicated. We are putting that track in B tier. I like the groove to it. I like the lyrics. I like the chorus. I think Carly Rae's vocal performance is quite nice. I do think that the instrumental leans a little more on the generic side, but not so much so that I think it actively detracts from the quality of the song. And I really like these songs that have Carly Rae Jepsen being a little more vulnerable with her own insecurities. I think she plays that really well, and I think it's always a nice time when that happens. I think it always comes out with a good track. B tier. I like it. I like it a lot. Sometimes I'll even just listen to it on its own. Oh, could you imagine such a thing? The Sound. The Sound is a good song. I think the lyrics are really cool. The chorus is alright, but I think the pre-chorus is really where it shines. I like the piano on this song. I think the piano is a real standout part. And I like the concept of the song. The idea of wanting more than words to express your love for somebody. However, as much as I like that, I do think it doesn't stack up nearly as well to the other tracks on this album. Dedicated in general is kind of a mixed bag, as you can see. I'm going to put it in C tier, but I do really like the track. I don't skip it. I sing along to it. Automatically in Love. Oh, baby. Automatically in Love is a B tier track. I really love this track. It's got such a, and I'm going to keep saying it, 70s meets 90s meets modern day. Right away, baby. It's a real roller coaster when the wind goes the other way. But you and me, right away, baby, we were automatically in love. It's so hooky. It's so tasty. Again, it's another one of those songs that gets in you and it doesn't let go. Apparently, Carly Rae was listening to a lot of Mariah Carey around this time, and I think you can really hear the influence in this track. It is followed by Feels Right, which is a song similar to All That, in the sense that I don't think I quite liked it as much when I first listened to it. I probably would have put it in C tier when I first listened to it, but as with All That, it's going in A tier. This is a really fun track to listen to, sing along to. I love that Carly goes into this sort of shrieking vocal presentation in the chorus that is a lot more aggressive than we've ever heard her be, and it fits the tone of the song. It's so groovy, it's so vibey. but also intense and loud and glittering and great. It's a great track. I do think it's an A-tier track. I love it. Right Words, Wrong Time. Another A-tier track. This is another song that you can hear a sort of, say it with me, 70s meets 90s meets modern day type of sound. Right Words, Wrong Time is another sort of groovy, slow track on the album, similar to Julian, which is also an A tier if you've noticed. And it uses that laid-back sort of groove and these pizzicato strings and this really, like, sort of simple drum line to great effect. Just like Automatically in Love or Julian, the chorus on this thing is so hooky, it really gets in your head. You always got the right words at the wrong time. That's a hook, mama. That's a proper hook. I think it's one of the tightest songs on the album. The production is so clean, so crisp. It's really something special in the discography. And speaking of special in the discography, what are those 3 things that Carly Rae Jepsen is going to do? Start an album, have a 4th track on an album, and finish a fucking album. And oh man, Real Love finishes this fucking album. It puts it in its grave. This song transports my soul out of my body. I astral project every time we get to that chorus. You know, the intro and the first verse, they sort of start out a little simply, a little, not low energy, but minimalistic. And then we get to the pre-chorus and things start ramping up. She's getting a little more intense. She's getting a little more urgent. Standing here with you tonight. How do we turn on the light? I got the feeling that the writing's on the wall. Like, she is so... It's the intensity is building. And then we get to the chorus, which it pulls back and then it explodes. Again, one of, I think, Carly's most vulnerable songs. It's talking very much about this, not even fear, but desire for a real love, something that's going to last, something that is sort of life-changing, grand. But she also doesn't know anything about it. Like, how can you achieve that without knowing anything about it? How do you achieve that without having done it already? And this song, as jubilant and explosive as it is, also has a little bit of that, like, nuance and anxiety to it that, again, is sort of a thesis statement for the album. The synths and the brass and the drums and Carly's vocals, I mean, everything is at the same pace. It sort of has the same effect on me as Run Away With Me, where I just want to start sprinting when this song comes on. I want to start doing fucking parkour. And for all of those reasons, yes indeed, it is going in S tier. It is just an excellent song. Before we move on from Dedicated, we've got one more song to talk about. It's not an album track, but it is a single from the album, which is, I guess, a valid choice as well. And that is the song Party for One. I'm not going to make any bones about it. I'm not going to leave us in any suspense. This is going in S tier. I like pop music when it is willing to talk about feelings in a nuanced way. It doesn't need to be incredibly nuanced. I don't need to have every perspective mapped out. I just need more than one emotion happening at once. And Party for One delivers on that. It's a song about self-love, about masturbation, about desire, about still wanting somebody, but also being like, listen, if you're not on my level, you're not on my level. What are we gonna do? Cry about it? I don't think so. The chorus, again, I keep mentioning the choruses, but I have to. Carly Rae writes great choruses, and this is not an exception. The reason it's an S tier is because I can't stop listening to it. In Emotion, I mentioned Boy Problems and how the lyrics were cheeky. I use that word cheeky. And Party for One is definitely a cheeky song. It's not even transgressive, but something about it feels so like, ooh, like, you know, like in the music video. It makes you feel like you're vibing with yourself in a hotel room that you're going to leave in the morning, but you've just ordered takeout. You're going to put on something on the TV, and you're just going to have a night to yourself. You know, it's excellent. Now we have arrived at the loneliest time. And unfortunately, there isn't much drama going on here, because Surrender My Heart is S tier. And I'm not going to apologize for that. Surrender My Heart, again, Carly Rae's going to start an album and she's going to finish it. Surrender My Heart is such a great opener. Again, it's about anxieties and the intersection of anxiety and love. And honestly, I think it's a nice pickup to the cliffhanger on Real Love. For me, Real Love almost feels like a cliffhanger of a song where it does seem to be a thesis statement on the album, but it doesn't resolve the emotions of the album. Surrender My Heart also doesn't resolve the emotions of Dedicated, but it picks up where Real Love left off, where Real Love is asking, how am I supposed to know love when I don't know what it looks like? Surrender My Heart is Carly Rae saying, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out how to love somebody open-heartedly, and it's probably going to be painful. It's going to cause anxiety, but I'm going to open up. And it works as both that, everything that I just said, and as an opener to this new album, which is going to deal very much in these themes of longing, loneliness, and being open, and being, you know, present. Surrender My Heart has these amazing crowd vocals. It's got maybe one of my favorite verse sort of melody structures in a Carly Rae song. You know, it's a very short song. It's only about 2 minutes and 55 seconds. I don't even think it breaks 3 minutes. But it packs so much information and emotion into those less than 3 minutes that it stands out. And that's why it's an S tier. Also, the synths. Mwah! Mwah! Incredible stuff. Also, Jane Krakowski is in the music video, which... Hello. Next, we dip down to Joshua Tree, and I do mean dip down. I think this track is a C-tier track. It's not a song that I love. It's a song that I will sometimes skip on re-listen if I'm not feeling it. I think it's got some really good lyrics. I think the instrumental leaves a lot to be desired. I think Joshua Tree is too much of a pivot. You don't really have... It doesn't give you a clear indication of what the album's going to be. And even though The Loneliest Time is Carly Rae Jepsen's most diverse album in terms of sound, I don't think that Joshua Tree properly gets you ready for it. It's just a little too jarring, in my opinion. Next, we've got Talking to Yourself. Mama. When I first heard this song, I thought, it's alright, innit? It's alright. But man, the more I listened to this song, the second time I listened to this song, it's infectious. It also gets right in you. It's not S tier, but it's damn close. It's an A tier. Again, it's another song where the verses and the pre-chorus and the chorus all work really well together. They really gel. And they build on each other really intensely and cohesively. to the point where once you get to the chorus, you're already primed for an explosion. And you get it. This song is a bop. It's danceable. It's incredibly fun to listen to. It's incredibly fun to sing along to. Are you thinking of me when you're with somebody else? Do you talk to me when you're talking to yourself? The pace and the velocity of this song, it's an A-tier track. It's very, very good. Far Away sort of reminds me a little bit of Peter Gabriel. There's this sort of like worldliness to it that I really like. The lyrics are incredibly poetic. I would say that The Loneliest Time lyrically is Carly Rae Jepsen's most poetic album. Trying not to talk first because words don't mean authority, and you look powerful just standing tall in front of me. But if you could put my feet back on the ground, we could try to introduce ourselves. I'd like to get to know you. Let me kiss all of these tears coming down. I heard a night bird singing. I don't think they're weird lyrics by any means, but again, for Carly Rae Jepsen, the line, I heard a night bird singing. I don't know, there's something so seductive about that line that keeps me coming back to this song. I like the instrumental quite a bit, and I like the way that it builds on itself throughout the song, and you get new harmonic relationships and new chordal changes. I really like this song. I think it's going into B tier. Up there with Warm Blood. I think Far Away and Warm Blood are, they're sisters. They both get it. Sideways is a C tier track. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's right down the middle of the road for me. It's sweet, but it's, again, nothing really that special to me. It's good. I like it. I usually don't skip it. It's good. There isn't much to say about Sideways, I guess, which is why it's in C tier. Beach House was a song that I didn't get at first. And by at first, I mean literally at the beginning of the song. I was sort of listening to it, and I got what it was doing, and I was like, okay, it's like kind of silly, it's kind of fun, it's, it's a pop track. But then we get to the bridge, and it took me until the bridge of the song for me to really go, okay, this is good. I got a lake house in Canada, and I'm probably gonna harvest your organs. Carly, Carly, you can't do that. That's crazy. Carly, lady who wrote Call Me Maybe, you can't say that. That's crazy. So once I got the sense of humor that the song was going for, I really appreciated it. And in retrospect, it made the verses stand out as purposefully funny and silly and a little campy, which is supported by the music video, which feels like it was inspired by Does Your Mother Know from Mamma Mia. That whole sequence of just Christine Baranski on the beach being danced at by a bunch of shirtless men. It's very that tea. Beach House, for everything that I just said, is going in A tier. Like the bottom of A tier, but I still do like the song quite a bit, and I don't skip it anymore. Bends is another A tier track. Bends is a track that, again, reminds me a little bit of Warm Blood, in that it's kind of weird, and there's this sort of synth line that's running through the whole thing, and it doesn't really change its pace at any moment, but there's this poetic anxiety to it. And The Loneliest Time seems to be a bit of an anxious album in general, I would say, which is fine. I love that Carly is going into that territory, writing songs as diverse lyrically and musically as an album like The Loneliest Time, and I hope she keeps doing it. Moonlight, stars in the water glow, swim out, baptize me in indigo, just me and all of my cousins know, blue eyes, we are the sensitive ones, tell me this isn't happening, do-do, 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 do-do. And again, just continuing that trend of poetic lyrics and odd lyrics, which, again, I hope she keeps going with. easy A tier. I really love this track. It's the type of track that you want to listen to when you're driving at 2 a.m. and you've just got, the street lights and the darkness in the sky. I don't know. It's a beautiful track. Western Winds. Mama, Western Wind is an S tier track. I have to put it in S tier. I have to. It's great. It was the first single off of The Loneliest Time. And when I heard it for the first time, I just thought, this is it. Like, this is great stuff. I felt so emotional because it really primed you for something completely different, unlike Dedicated, unlike Emotion, unlike Kiss. It's so smooth and watery, and it sounds like autumn, and it sounds like springtime. The little keyboard synths that just kind of warm you up when you're listening to them. The lyrics, I think, are some of Carly Rae's best. This idea of love coming in like a western wind that just kind of blows through your life and is warm and reminds you of home. And I don't know, there's just, I think musically, lyrically, emotionally, vocally, this is just easily one of her best. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful song, and she should be very proud of herself for it. I think it's the kind of song you want to make as an artist, I guess. So Nice. It is followed by So Nice, which is, it's okay. It's nice. It's pretty nice. It's in C tier. It's a song about liking the fact that you're with somebody and how nice it is to be in love. It's not bad. I don't skip it. I quite like it. Although I will say, I really dislike the melody of the vocals, the la la la's at the beginning. I just find them kind of corny and a little too saccharine for my taste. Bad Thing Twice is an easy B tier. We're gonna put it up here. Bad Thing Twice, like Ben's, has the same velocity the entire way through, except Bad Thing Twice is a little more like dancey. The melody on Bad Thing Twice is great. It's so fun to listen to. It's so fun to sing along to. I feel like I've said that 20 times, but I think it's true. I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over again for a lot of these tracks, but I can't help it. They're all in the same tier. What can I say? There's just such a groove and such a disco-y sound to this song that, I don't know, you can't help but dance a little. You can't help but shake a little and sing along, and even if you don't know the lyrics, hum along to them and just sort of like whip your head side to side. And for that reason, it's going, like I said, A tier. Shooting Star. Bad Thing Twice is B tier. Sorry. It's going in B tier. I was wrong. I meant to put it in B tier. Shooting Star is B tier. It's very, very good. It's fun to listen to. It's dancey. It's disco-y. It's weird. There are things that, again, Carly Rae Jepsen is clearly experimenting with this album, and I think this experiment pays off really beautifully. The processing on the vocals is strange and disco-y and sometimes reminds me of the good parts of The End by the Black Eyed Peas. And it's just got this sparkly groove to it that is kind of infectious. So Go Find Yourself or Whatever is a song that I was really looking forward to when I found the track list for the album before it was released, because I thought the title was very juicy. And I was expecting kind of a bad bitch track. I was kind of expecting a sort of hand-wavy sort of Beyonce, like, go find yourself or whatever, get out of here, like, I don't need you type track. But I was really pleasantly surprised to find a song that's a little more contemplative and acoustic and slow. And I don't mean slow in a bad way, I mean slow in a really, really nice way that lets the lyrics take center stage. And while, yes, go find yourself or whatever is a cheeky little line, it's funny, there's also like a sadness behind it when you hear it sung within the context of the song, because it feels more exasperated than sardonic or acidic. It's tired, like, not the line itself or the song, but the narrator. The narrator is tired of this guy's bullshit and is like, go find yourself or whatever. Like, I can't keep putting emotion into this. I can't keep putting labor into this. I'm just going to move on. And this song captures that emotion beautifully. And for that reason, I'm going to put it in A tier. I really love this song. And now, finally, for this album, The Loneliest Time, we have The Loneliest Time, the title track of the album, and my favorite Carly Rae Jepsen song, period. This track pops. This track is so joyful. And it's not joyful in a sort of saccharine or synthetic way. It's joyful in a fun way. It's joyful, honestly, in a disco way. It's joyful in, honestly, kind of a queer way. There's something so unself-conscious about how campy and funny and unhinged this song feels when you put it up against the rest of Carly Rae Jepsen's discography. While I love all of the pop stuff from the last, 3 albums, there is a sort of, it's still pop music. It's still meant to be popular, meant to get radio play by being modern and accessible, I guess. And while The Loneliest Time isn't inaccessible by any means, it's earnest in a way that I think a lot of songs, even by Carly Rae Jepsen, don't fully reach. I think she is a very earnest writer and a very earnest musician and artist, and that's why I keep returning to her, and why I think she's kind of one of the best pop acts out there, is her earnestness, her vulnerability. But The Loneliest Time kicks it up to that next level where you're not only emotionally vulnerable and earnest, you're also allowing yourself to be a little bit silly and a little bit campy and a little bit fun and not really caring about how you're going to be received. Carly Rae Jepsen and Rufus Wainwright's vocals have so much chemistry to them. It is so fun to hear them sing together. I love the disco backtrack to it. I love the strings in the instrumental bridge. This song is like unhinged in the best way possible, and unhinged in a way that puts it in S tier. Right at the top. I think this is the best Carly Rae Jepsen song. People might disagree with me. They might say Run Away With Me or Want You in My Room or like any of the other songs in A tier or S tier. But I think that The Loneliest Time, it's so funny, it's so happy, it's so goofy and unself-conscious that how can it not just put a smile on your face every time you listen to it? I adore this song. It's perfect. And finally, the last song that we will be critiquing tonight, that we will be ranking tonight, is Cut to the Feeling. And let's not mince our words. It's an S tier. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It just keeps getting better. Cut to the Feeling gives me the same emotions that I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston does. I think it's such a big pop song. It's such an infectious, overwhelming, astral projecting out of your body pop song. Again, it's hard to listen to this track without wanting to sprint, without wanting to run, without wanting to thrash your body on the floor and break everything in your apartment. When Carly gets to the chorus and she's screaming, I wanna cut to the feeling. Like, you believe it. You know she wants to cut to that goddamn feeling, and you better give it to her. You want to cut to the feeling with her, I guess, is what I'm saying. And with this song, you can. So you can see why, now that we've finished the tier list, you can see why all the songs from the first two albums had to get bumped down. I don't think that Kiss is a bad album. I don't even think that Tug of War is necessarily a bad album. It's just that those two albums feel less nuanced, feel less mature, feel a little more juvenile than everything that comes after them. When I told my partner that Call Me Maybe was going in C tier, he almost jumped across the table and choked me to death. He was really confused. He was almost annoyed with me and sort of had this feeling of like, you don't get Call Me Maybe. You don't get why it was such a cultural landmark and this and that. And I'm like, no, I do. But everything that comes after it in her discography, in terms of Emotion, Dedicated, and The Loneliest Time, most of it blows Call Me Maybe out of the water. I think the idea of one-hit wonders is a tenuous one at best anyway, and I don't think that Carly Rae Jepsen has fallen into that idea, but I think there is a real danger of some people who might not be as familiar with her music painting her as the Call Me Maybe woman, which I think it's quite unfair, especially since even on that album there are songs that are better than Call Me Maybe, that are more dynamic and nuanced and funny and cheeky. Yeah, I guess part of the reason I wanted to do this tier list was to just sort of like give some love to the other songs and give some love to the other albums that maybe, Carly Rae Jepsen's doing fine. She doesn't need me doing PR for her. But I think if you liked Call Me Maybe, but thought that Carly Rae Jepsen is sort of a one-hit wonder, then I implore you to listen to some of these other songs that I've put above it in the S, A, B, and C tiers, and give them a try, and see if you like them. I'm really excited to see what she does next, honestly. I hope she keeps experimenting. I hope she keeps finding new ways to produce these albums and new topics to talk about. It's kind of all I have to say about it. Thank you.